Okay, welcome to the latest developer blog for Democracy 4. I'm Cliff, I'm the programmer and designer on the game, and I'm going to talk about the stuff that has happened in the last 2 weeks. Sorry, I had a little error message come up about something. And then, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's gone in, and I'm going to sort of go through it. I'm playing in dark mode just for the variety of it. One of the first things that I did in the last few weeks was to change the way the game works in terms of screen resolution. We used to have this thing that you have to have a screen resolution of at least 800 height in order to run the game. We changed that to 768, and that's not a lot of difference, right? It's 32 pixels, but you have to squeeze a lot of things in order to make it work, and we had to find a lot of places where that just wasn't going to work, and do little fixes and tweaks to make sure that it did. So now you can set the screen to be 768 height, because it's actually quite a popular height if you've got a really old laptop. If you buy a brand new laptop, they tend to be higher resolution than that. But one of the aims for this game is to have it running happily and successfully on really old PCs and for people who don't play loads of games. So we now officially support 768 resolution. So if you've got 1366 by 768, the game will look a little bit squashed, and it's not ideal, it's not perfect. Most games are actually designed to run at 1920 by 1080, which is the most common resolution at the moment. But anyway, it now works okay with that resolution. Something else I should mention is that in the list of supported languages, we are going to be adding, I'm not sure if I've said this before, but Polish and Russian. I think it's Polish and Russian. I should have double checked that before I started the stream. Anyway, they're on order. So we're going to have new languages soon. It takes quite a while because there's 70,000 words, 71. There's a lot of words in the game. So that'll be coming, and we are going to be adding new countries soon. We're going to be adding Italy and North Korea. If you go into here, there is North Korea, South Korea. We're adding South Korea. North Korea would be interesting, but we're doing South Korea, and then we're going to do Italy. Then we're going to have, that's quite a lot of countries actually. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that'd be 9. I don't know how many Democracy 3 had. I would rather put some effort into making it really easy for people to mod new countries without having to edit loads of text files and ask me about things. So that, because then we can have loads, right? So I'm going to put some effort into that. We'll do more supported countries as well, but whatever. So anyway, so that's the thing that's been happening. Let me just load. Shall I just load in a game that I've been testing? I'm just loading that. I don't know. Oh no! I'm about to lose, aren't I? Am I? This is a game from earlier. I am. Oh no! I'm going to lose. I'm going to have to pick another game. Oh, how annoying! How annoying! Right. Let me just load in something else. I'll load this in. Okay. Just so I can poke around and talk about the other stuff that's changed. There's been a lot of balance change stuff. Recently, so in the last few weeks I've gone through loads of the dilemmas, loads of the events, and also the game's achievements to rebalance them. So I had to reset mine, so I've currently only got one here that I've done, Subsidy Sam. We've made some of the achievements easier because some of them were really hard. Apocalypse Now is very hard because cyclones hardly ever triggered. We fixed a load of little things like that. If you look at the latest version of the game, which is 1.21, both on our forums and also on the Steam News thing, there is a complete breakdown of everything that we changed, including all the changes to achievements. So it's worth having a look at that. Basically, some of the achievements were really, really hard. And they've been changed. And actually, we changed the Subsidy Sam, so that you don't get it just for having those. That number of subsidies, you have to actually put that number of subsidies in place, so you have to have made that decision, so it makes that one harder, because otherwise if you just load up France you get it because they got loads of subsidies at the start. And we also fixed a bug to do with the way the achievements were being triggered, so that's in there as well. So better balance generally is the kind of theme of what's happened recently. Something else we did is we went back to the UK and the US and looked at a lot of the settings that were wrong, because originally I was doing it and then got someone to do things properly in terms of like researching all of the policies and everything for each country, but the UK and US were already done, so we were missing some stuff that was true in the UK and the US but not set in the game, and again that's in that list of things, but it's worth taking a look at that to see what we've changed. So that's happened, and we've got some new policies. When I ask on the main menu about what people would like to see in the game, one of the most common things that comes up is that people want more policies. And it's kind of tricky because like this is quite a cluttered screen, right? I need to like work on this a little bit so that I use this sizing stuff better. So I'm seeing bugs, which I wouldn't normally see. No, it's not really a bug. No, that's not a bug. I think I should reuse some of this sizing stuff so that it's much more exaggerated. So here, if we go to finances, like you'll notice that the little ones, 484 million per quarter. There is a limit to how small we make them, so we won't make them smaller than this. So really, that icon should be half. That icon there should be like half the size of that one. And I did it because I wanted it to be usable. But actually, I think everyone plays the game in weighted mode, and you might occasionally like toggle it into this to just see where all the money's going. So I might change this so that the really small ones will really disappear. And it's quite interesting. It's quite an interesting topic on the subject of like human perception of size is interesting, because how should we be reflecting these? Like these two here, okay, that's 231. That's 449. So it's almost double, right? Does it look at? It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell with the size of a circle, I think. Like bar charts are really good at this kind of stuff, but obviously we can't do a bar chart here. So I wonder if we should exaggerate things slightly. I'm interested to know people's thoughts on these viewing options. Do you use them much? What do you think of them? And would you like to use them but you don't find them that helpful? I think the finance one and the popularity ones are very helpful. And again, I think this, we're letting icons stay too large when they should be really minor. So this is kind of like tracking how much stuff does this affect and how much does it affect it. So when you set it to influence, you can tell GDP really matters, car usage really matters, technology really matters. But then you can see some of these other things like this is plant-based diets. It's not a big deal in the country. We shouldn't be caring about that much because it only affects like one thing and it doesn't affect it a lot. GDP is super important. But should this all be slightly more exaggerated? I think maybe it should. Anyway, policies. I started talking about that because the reason we don't have 1 million policies in the game is partly because of balance, and partly because we don't want the screen to be stupidly cluttered. But if we get a better sizing algorithm for everything, you know, there's no reason why this game cannot have infinite complexity. So really, we could have 200 policies here. So, you know, we've just got state housing. We could have 20 like offshoots of that. It's just a matter of presenting the data. And obviously, yeah, balance is a pain. Anyway, I'm going to run through the stuff that's new. Hopefully my Skype will stop beeping at me. Oh, actually, it's about the game. It's Jeff, it's about the game. Anyway, whatever. I'll come back to that. So, yeah, we've got some new policies, and I'm going to talk you through them and explain what they are for people who go, well, I've never heard of that. We don't have that in my country, whatever. So one of them here, which we have in my country, in the UK, is unexplained wealth orders. I'm a big fan of this. I think this is a really good policy. But some people don't. And I consider myself to be sort of a liberal, but liberals don't like it. So an unexplained wealth order is like a law that says in certain circumstances, a judge, I think it has to be a judge, says you need to explain how you managed to afford that £4 million house. If you can't, you can be prosecuted. And the reason for this is if you're really good at hiding illegal stuff you get up to, and you're like a drug dealer or a gun runner, or you're someone very dodgy, and all of the money that you've got is from really dubious businesses, but you're very good at preventing people catching you doing that, and therefore you cannot be prosecuted because they can't find the evidence for that. It kind of turns the tables and it says, look, we know you're a drug dealer. Everyone knows. Prove you're not. Prove you didn't. Prove how you managed to have a collection of Ferraris. And if you can't, then you're in trouble. I don't know what the maximum penalties are and everything. Now, liberals hate this, and a lot of free speech people would hate this, because you're basically upturning the whole concept of innocence until proven guilty, which is very problematic. Because like a corrupt establishment, a corrupt judge could therefore kind of abuse that maybe. But I quite like it because I hate the fact that some people like get away with breaking the law massively just because they've got good accountants. That shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. Also, you should be proud. Like if someone says, where do you get your money from? I think you should be proud of it. You should be able to go, I got this money because I started this business and it did really well. And here are the accounts and here's the tax I paid. Anyway, like your opinion may vary, but it's a policy in the game now, unexplained wealth orders. So that's one. We've got one public service one, I think, or there might be two of them. It's two of them. So we've got compulsory water meters. Your mileage may vary depending what country you're in. But basically in the UK, unless you have a water meter, we have one here, then you just pay like an amount based on how much water the water company guesses you will use based on the size of your house. So they say it's a 3-bedroom house, there's probably 4 people living there, 2 kids, 2 adults, they'll probably use this amount of water. And they charge you for that based on like the value of your house. If you've got a big house but not many people in, for example, you're better off with a water meter because you don't use as much water as they think. And also, if you're a bit of an eco person, which I am, then you're not going to use that much water. You want to conserve water and you want to be rewarded financially for it. Anyway, it is a policy to insist that everyone has water meters fitted to reduce the demand on infrastructure. And the reason this is in the game is that we have a situation of water shortage, which comes about through climate change and an increase in average temperature over time. I think if population goes up and average temperature goes up over time, you will get a water shortage in the future. So one of the ways you can avoid that is by reducing water consumption by everyone having water meters. Now, if you look here, this is something that's not clear to everyone. I was thinking, why do water meters boost education? I haven't clicked on the right thing. So it says environmentalists like this, and the environment likes you for not, wasting water. What it doesn't say is reduces the likelihood of a water shortage. This is because we do not show you effects on situations that have not triggered. You have to kind of learn from experience. I think that's a good thing, otherwise we're kind of showing you the whole game before you played it. And we have a different strategy for this, which is desalination plants, which is basically taking seawater and taking the salt out. That's really hard. It's really expensive. It costs a fortune to do this. It uses an enormous amount of electricity to do this. So that's why we put energy efficiency down, because that's our way of saying this uses a lot of energy. So it effectively reduces the energy efficiency of the country because you're doing this rather than conserving water in other ways. And again, desalination plants is something that will prevent water shortage. So that's another new policy that's in the game. Then we've got 2 new taxes. So we have the packaging tax and the plastics tax. So packaging tax, I wish we had a packaging tax in the UK. It states the obvious really. The environment likes it. Environmentalists like it. GDP takes a hit from it because you're basically saying to companies now, rather than just sticking everything in whatever cardboard box you've got, we're going to charge you for that cardboard box, we're going to tax cardboard or whatever. So you need more intelligent, more sophisticated, possibly more expensive packaging machinery and processes in order to reduce the amount of packaging you use. So it will cost business more money and therefore it will impact GDP. Obviously it will cost business more money. If it didn't, they'd already be reducing packaging, right? That just stands to reason. And the other one here is a plastics tax. We already have a plastic bag tax, which arguably maybe we should get rid of now. I don't know. But a general purpose plastics tax, which again is something I think we should have, is basically trying to put up the price of like plastic water bottles and stuff like that, which is why we've got this icon here. And again, environmentalists want this. It reduces oil demand because it reduces plastics demand, and plastics is tied into the oil industry. So you are reducing the demand for oil if you're reducing the demand for plastics. So it's another option. It's another like environmental tax that's in there. I've tried to balance them as best as I can. Let me know if they're too OP, as gamers say. Packaging tax is OP. Whatever. Anyway, so that's the new stuff that's gone in, and lots of cool stuff going on. I've also changed a few little bits of UI that you won't notice. Probably the only place people will notice it is you get this little line that shows up underneath the highlighted button. There's loads of other little tweaks, which I did at one point. I'm trying to make the game look a little bit more pizzazzy, and you know, we're going to keep doing that. Anyway, that's enough. I mean, that was quite a lot in 2 weeks, I think. The next 2 weeks, I've got a few like usability and user interface things. There are a few things that happen in the game that I'm not telling people about. Also, something that I'm going to change is I don't like this background. We just put the planet Earth there. It's like, planet Earth, that'll do. We should put something behind the people. I think we're going to try and do some cool animated kind of thing with loads of policy icons or something. I don't know, and I don't want to spend forever on it because it's not important. But I've never liked the background of this, so I'm probably going to change it. Anyway, so this is what's happened in the last 2 weeks. We do these videos every 2 weeks. Democracy 4 is currently in early access. It's on the Epic Store, it's on GOG, it's on Humble, it's on Steam. If you like it, please leave us a review. And I've got nothing else to say, really. See you in 2 weeks. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Blah, blah, blah. The end.